folks, this is GreenyXI, welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 169. In the last episode, we did quite a bit actually, but the main thing that we ended off on was that Satoko was sort of introduced in this fragmented sort of arc, and we saw how she had a ton of different fathers, she never accepted them, stepfathers, fathers, and how she was sort of going down the Higurashi syndrome sort of route with the red font and red text and all that sort of stuff. So now we're going to go for this one, which I think is the only one we can actually go for after everything we've seen, or at least all I can piece together, so we're going to go for it. We need a conflict between Hojo and Sonzaki family, we saw that in the auditorium, and the self-introduction of Satoko Hojo, which we just saw. So, let's get going. The Hojo family is well known for going against the whole village during the dam conflict. Both the husband and the wife were rather aggressive, and they fought a fierce battle, especially against the Sonzaki family. Although the whole village treated them coldly, the husband and wife didn't really care and kept on fighting. In a way, they were extremely strong-willed people. I'm sure their children had to go through a lot because of them though. Satoko-chan and Satoshi-kun were treated coldly by the villagers as well. In addition to that, Satoko-chan and her stepfather didn't get along, so their stress levels must have reached their limit. Because I'm the director of the local clinic, a rather respected member of society, people usually tell me a lot of things, so I was aware of the treatment they were receiving even before I met them. I met Satoshi-kun first. Satoshi-kun came to the clinic because he felt ill from too much stress. He must have thought he had a cold. When I examined him, he even told me that. But hearing his repeated sighs and by seeing the exhausted look in his eyes, I knew right away it wasn't just a simple cold. Medication would heal his symptoms, but that'd only be a temporary measure. The only way to truly cure him would be to change his living environment. But that was easier said than done. He was surrounded by tangled and complicated relationships, and the village and his family just resting for a few days and taking some medication wouldn't do. Time was the only thing that could ease off the cold treatment from the villagers, but we were talking a very, very long time. That's why I felt I had to be the first ally in this village, so I could rescue them. I couldn't do anything about this stressful environment, but I could try to diminish the anxiety, so I thought the best way was to teach him how to vent his stress, and playing sports is the best way to do that, so I asked him to join the junior baseball team that I coach. As a researcher, I devote most of my time to Higurashi syndrome, but I too need to do something else to relax. I used to play baseball, so I decided to coach the local kids team. After a while, the children of Higurashi started their own baseball team, and somehow, I became their coach. Doctors can't provide health just by giving medication. You need a sound mind and a sound body. I believe health can be maintained through sports as well. But our team needed more people, so I thought of asking Satoshi-kun to join. Being a bookworm, Satoshi-kun wasn't interested in playing sports. He wasn't sure how joining the baseball team would help his situation. I didn't need to go on and on about athletic medicine to explain why sports help people become healthy. I just wanted him to experience it himself, to realise how great it feels to play sports. I think he realised it gradually. He was reluctant until the very end, but he attended all of the team activities and games. As I saw Satoshi-kun slowly regain his liveliness, I realised my plan worked. However, if Satoshi-kun was under that much stress, then Satoko-chan, who lived in the same family climate, must have felt the same way. Unfortunately, I didn't think of her back then. So when Satoko-chan was carried into my clinic as a patient, I regretted doing nothing about her, even while knowing the situation. As Satoshi-kun recovered under my guidance, Satoko-chan was left alone in her stressful environment. Also around that time, there was an incident bad enough to make Satoko-chan collapse. That was, of course, her parents' deaths. The day of the Watanagashi festival was a very uncomfortable time for the Hojo family, because although it was a village festival, it was also a day to celebrate victory over the dam construction project. It's understandable that they would plan a family trip around that time, so they could leave the village. Satoko-chan's parents fell off the cliff at the park they were visiting. It happened on such an unlucky day. Because it happened on the day of Watanagashi, people said it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and people labelled the Hojo family as one that was cursed by Oyashiro-sama. The parents were given the cold shoulder by everyone in the village, so with their parents gone, Satoshi and Satoko should have been freed from that, but unfortunately the accident happened on the day of Watanagashi. That's why the members of the Hojo family continue to be shunned. Satoko-chan was the only one who was at the site of the accident. Satoshi-kun didn't go on the trip because he had an event with the baseball team. Therefore, the police mainly interrogated her. The detective, Oishi, suspected an act of organised crime by the village, so with Sadako-chan as the only witness on site, he drilled her with questions. She was as stressed as Satoshi-kun, perhaps even more, so of course she couldn't take it. During the interrogation, she began to wheeze and gasp for air. The anguished look I saw on Sadako-chan's face when she was carried into the clinic was very, very tragic. It broke my heart just to imagine what she had to go through. Coach, is Sadako okay? Yes, don't worry. She's a bit confused, but only temporarily, that's all. May I see her? She finally fell asleep, so I'd rather not wake her up just yet. Let's just let her rest a while. Maybe it's a good idea to have her stay here for a few days too. Don't worry, I'll take good care of her. Okay, so Satoshi's been rejected. That was one of the fragment requirements, remember that. Thank you. I know Satoshi-kun is a great big brother who truly cares about his sister. He empathizes deeply with her. In other words, Satoshi-kun's worries and stress were reflected in Sadako-chan herself. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but while Satoshi-kun was, of course, sad about his parents' deaths, he may at the same time have been a little relieved that they were gone. His sister wouldn't have to be driven into a corner anymore. Unlike Satoshi-kun, Sadako-chan didn't have the social skills to get along with her stepfather. So putting her mother aside, I was certain that losing her father, the greatest cause of stress in her life, would bring great change to her home environment. But I couldn't believe what happened next. The two were sent to live in an even worse environment with their aunt and uncle. Although at that time I was rather optimistic, thinking this new environment would be better for the siblings. Okay, so that's where they go and move in with the aunt and uncle. I like how this arc is sort of explaining the bits that we already know about. Like, we know they go and live with the aunt and uncle, and we know what happens to the aunt and the uncle later on. But it's sort of filling the little pieces in between. Let's see if we can find what's next then. Shopping trip, Shinto priest, no. Rock candy, yeah. Sadako Hojo's detailed test result, I haven't had a test result. Part-time job, nope. Nope. Ryugu family, nope. Nothing to do with Ryugus yet. No. Red capsule, no. Sea urchin, nope. Fragment from Higurashi chapter? Maybe? No? Oh, Higurashi's been mentioned, but not the chapter, I guess. Not this one either, because there haven't been Ryugu's. Okay, next one. I can't remember which chapter that is. I know I'm from the English names, you know. The 7 fragments thing is getting to me. I keep clicking it every time just because I'm not sure if that's done or not. I don't know what it means by 7 fragments, considering we've done 7 and I don't know. Anyway, let's go back a bit. Prior consent for the collection of that, no. Death of Kazumi, no. Rikufudi's, no. Additional medicine, nope. Execution order for the 3rd year. No. Not be allowed to visit this clinic, yeah, we've seen that one. Sense of responsibility, big brother is required. Sense of responsibility? Oh, okay, we haven't had that one yet. I guess he hasn't felt it fully yet. No. 3rd year. 3rd year's cursed. This one, right? That's the one where she pushed him off the cliff, no? It has happened, sort of. Death of Sadako. Aunt, no. Hospitalization of Sadako. There we go. Found it. Satoshi-kun's a good brother who takes great care of his sister. He went to visit Sadako-chan straight after school and kept encouraging her to get better every day. Without even hearing Satoshi-kun's story, it's obvious to me that Sadako-chan never had a good relationship with her step-parents. She especially didn't get along with her stepfather. Sadako-chan even called a child abuse hotline once. Not only that, her parents ended up dying in an accident, so she just wasn't able to withstand all the damage. Sadako-chan is still very young, so everything must have been horrible for her to go through. Fortunately, she has a wonderful brother. Emotional wounds are hard to heal, but nothing heals those wounds better than love from family members. I'm sure that one day, Sadako-chan will be able to smile again. She's still in shock, but when she talks to Satoshi-kun, she smiles a little bit. Oishi from the police department keeps requesting to see her, but I think I need to protect her for just a little longer. While he's passionate about his job, I wish he'd be a touch more sensitive. If he reminds her of her parents' accident, her emotional wounds will start to open again. That's the one point I worry about with Sadako-chan. I heard someone knocking on the door. It was Takano-san. It doesn't look right wearing a nurse's uniform like that. She's a licensed doctor, so she should wear a white coat and act like one. Maybe this is fun for her, but I think she might be insulting the real nurses. I didn't say anything though. Dr. Ire, may I talk to you? Oh yeah. Well, Satoshi-kun, if you'll excuse me. Ah, sure. Hello, Satoshi-kun. Please keep Satoko-chan company. She's always alone, so I bet she's lonely. Okay? Oh no, that's not true. Humph. Okay, Satoshi-kun, you're in charge. I got up and let Satoshi-kun take over. Did something happen? Not right here. Let's go to your office. Takano-san smiled meaningfully. Usually smiles bring happy feelings. When it comes to Takano-san, that's really the case. You sure? Yes. The initial test results showed there's a possibility she's at level 3 or above. We need to keep her here and run some more tests. The results aren't in yet, but from what I can see, it's very possible that she's at level 4. Takano-san's eyes sparkled in a weird way. There's a reason for that. For us, finding patients in the terminal stage is a valuable boon in our research. In fact, as a result of dissecting the murder suspect from last year, we've made great progress in our research. In other words, we finally managed to isolate the pathogen. We also discovered that when the host dies, the pathogen melts away within a few hours. Once that happens, it's undetectable. That's why we never found the pathogen when we performed autopsies. Our research made a lot of progress after that. What we found in this past year has easily surpassed what the late Dr. Takano found in decades. We're now studying the nature, the effect, and the symptoms of the pathogen, as well as treatments and vaccines. In other words, a living specimen who's at the terminal stage is a necessity for our research. However, we rarely find a patient who's gone that far, who's reached level 5. Higurashi syndrome once created huge numbers of level 5 patients, but today, it doesn't have such potency. Because of that, we have to secure level 5 patients, or patients who are close to reaching level 5 as quickly as possible. Satoko-chan possibly qualifies to be that next sacrifice. To keep this strange disease a secret, we can't let patients who may be at level 5 go. We have to run more tests first. Then we'll figure out what to do next. In any case, Satoko-chan seems so calm. Her behaviour is nothing like the man from last year. Initial tests are in error sometimes. We have to wait for the results of more detailed tests to determine how serious her condition is. Okay, let's admit her for observation. Please let the staff know to get things ready. That sounds like a formal answer, but if the results come back positive, that'll be the green light for a dissection. I don't know Satoko-chan that well, but I've known her brother Satoshi-kun through the baseball team for a long time. However, how could I dissect the apple of Satoshi-kun's eyes? I can feel scary images flashing in my head for the first time. Don't worry, everything's already taken care of. She smiled as if to tell me that a dissection is already being prepared for too. Is it just her who's smiling? Am I smiling like her too? When I dissected that man last year, I did feel guilt beforehand, but once I started, it was like I was in paradise. All the pieces of the puzzle that were left by the late Dr. Takano fell into place, and at the same time, they didn't. How exciting it was. Knowing that we are the first ones to take the first steps to solve the mystery, that is. I don't even know how to explain this feeling to those who have never experienced it. There's no way to describe it with words. The only thing I can say is that even a year later, I still remember it vividly. So if the results show that Satoshi-kun's beloved sister is to be dissected, can I control myself? Can I stay calm? But that means I'm a failure of a human being. I know very well that the Hojo family was treated poorly by the villagers, and I know what Satoko-chan had to go through. Also, I know Satoshi-kun loves his sister, who is his one and only blood relative. How can I dissect Satoko-chan, use my research as an excuse? Does an aunt and uncle count as blood relative? No. I didn't feel much guilt for the man from last year, but I feel unbearable guilt towards Satoko-chan. That means what I did last year was very sinful. I don't care if a stranger dies, but I don't want Satoko-chan to die. That's not right. All lives are equally precious. I tried to convince myself that he was a violent murderer, but maybe he only became that way because he was at the terminal stage. I don't know anything about him before he became deranged. Maybe he was a model citizen who was worthy of respect. Unfortunately, he became ill and ended up doing what he did. Maybe he was a victim himself. Just like my father. I know more about Higurashi syndrome than anybody. This disease makes people act in bizarre ways, without those people realizing it. So when the people at the terminal stage do such strange and violent things, one should be sympathetic. I already knew that back when I decided to go down this path. I should have remembered it sooner, but I only did just now. I finally realized what sinful research I'm working on. Sadako Hojo's detailed test results came back. The results say level 5. She's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage. It's actually a surprising result. In last year's case, the patient was extremely deranged. According to Takano-san's records, he complained about itching coming from the lymph nodes all over his body and wanted to claw at his throat, just as the late Dr. Takano mentioned. But Sadako-chan isn't displaying such symptoms. Even in the late Takano's data, throat clawing is said to be a characteristic symptom of terminal stage patients. However, not all patients experience that symptom. Besides, emotional expression is very different in each person. Even if it's the same emotion, one patient may express it rather violently, and another may express it calmly. There's no way of knowing by just looking at the person. Sadako-chan's detailed test results say that she's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage, level 5. In other words, she may be feeling what the man from last year was feeling. It's just that she isn't expressing that feeling in the same way the man was. Higurashi syndrome affects the frontal lobes of the brain. It stimulates the most primitive of emotions, doubt, very strongly. As a result, terminal patients are trapped in delusions and paranoia and end up committing horrible crimes. Sadako-chan seems to show improvement when she's exchanging friendly words with Satoshi-kun. But there's a paranoia stirring inside her that may put her in a deranged state at any moment. I can't let her leave the clinic like this. However, if things go according to the manual, I will have to make a decision on her dissection. My decision will only be a formality. I can't actually refuse. Takano-san appears to be already working on a dissection schedule. That plan will then come to me. Would I feel the same way while dissecting Sadako-chan? Would I be able to experience that trance once again? No. The question is, can I fight the temptation? As I pretend to question myself, I'm letting Takano-san prepare things on her own. By doing so, I am passively agreeing to Sadako-chan's dissection. If possible, I want to save Sadako-chan. I don't want her to be a sacrifice for this research. I don't want to dissect her. Then what about the man from last year? Do I only care about the lives of the people I know? If I don't dissect her, do I let her live and leave the clinic? Do I simply wait for her to become deranged and commit a horrible crime? And then she'll end up here, just like the man from last year, and I'll end up dissecting her anyway. The man from last year was dissected alive, and kept that way for several months. With his skull left open, he wasn't allowed to die for several months. He was kept alive just for our cruel experiments. I don't want to do that to her. I don't know what to do. Even debating and agonizing over it is leading towards consent to a dissection by elimination. Ah, so he's got some doubts. And I think that's a fragment, as well as there was a fragment, something to do with level 5, so we'll have a quick scan through. They're getting less and less now anyway, so it'll be quicker hopefully. Alright. Sadako Hojo's detailed test result is required. His decision is required. I don't think he's actually decided as he will have a look. Nope, okay. Next up, nope. 30 years curse, no. Level 5 stage patient's dissection is required. No, can't do it anyway. Death Sadako's aunt, his father, stuff to do with Rika isn't gonna be any help right now. Research needs to have stagnated, no. No. Not be allowed to visit his sister. Satoshi Hojo's sense of responsibility, no. Oh wait, I didn't check one. No. Prior consent for the collection of Sable, no. Keep looking. Nope. Sadako's shopping trip. No. Sadako's detailed test result, maybe? Yeah, okay, there we go. I wouldn't say it was detailed. Okay. A group of boys are playing baseball under the powerful sun. The sound of cicadas makes the heat stand out even more, but to those boys, it's just another kind of cheering from the crowds. Of course, they go through training exercises to build stamina, but the boys don't actually like such routine activities. What they look forward to the most is the free game after practice. The school in Higurashi is actually borrowed from the forestry service. The schoolyard's made of gravel, so it's not very appropriate for playing sports on. Compared to that, the grounds at the school in Higurashi are properly maintained for athletic activities, so the kids grow even more energetic when they come here. Kids from Higurashi really don't care if the ground is made of gravel or not. The other instructor is watching the game, so I decided to go get some drinks for the team. Coach, where are you going? I thought I'd go get some drinks for everyone. Do you mind helping me, Satoshi-kun? Oh no, not at all. Satoshi-kun decided to come along with me. Sometimes kids don't like what grown-ups choose, so I'm glad he agreed to help. Satoshi-kun and I got in the car and headed to the grocery store nearby. Manager? How's Satoko doing? Well, she's doing fine. Although it's an extremely slow process, her emotional wounds are healing. I think we should let her rest for a little longer. It's natural for Satoshi-kun to be worried. Satoko-chan has been in the hospital for over 2 weeks. Of course, he doesn't know his sister has Inamizawa syndrome. Not only that, she's almost at level 5. She could become deranged at any moment. He believes she's depressed because of the shock of their parents' accident. He came to the clinic every day to cheer his sister up. But Satoko-chan's become emotionally unstable and was showing some dangerous symptoms, so we called off the visits. In fact, Satoko-chan's not doing so well. Level 5, the stage Satoko-chan's at, is a very abnormal one. The man from last year, who was at the same stage, was acting so abnormal that even a drug addict in his final stages would have turned and ran. There's no guarantee Satoko-chan won't fall into the same condition. When we performed the autopsy on that man last year, we learned the true identity of the syndrome and gained a great understanding of its mechanisms. We even discovered some important facts that may lead to the development of a cure. However, we have yet to find a method of actually curing the disease. So if Satoko-chan becomes unrecoverable, we may have to dissect her, just like we did the man from last year. How can you tell Satoshi-kun about his sister's situation? All I can do is make vague comments and lie to him that she's recovering. What if she becomes much worse? That would make me an unforgivable liar. The tiny bit of conscience that remains in me hurts. If it's okay with the clinic, can she stay there a little longer? Why are you saying that? I thought he wanted her to come home as soon as possible, so I'm a little surprised. Well, actually, Satoko doesn't get along with our aunt. I heard she doesn't get along with our parents. But she can't get along with your aunt and uncle either. Satoko doesn't open up to grown-ups. Satoshi-kun had told me about their family background. Their mother's constant remarriages wounded her children deeply. Satoshi-kun was able to overcome it, but Satoko-chan was too young to be able to do that. That left her traumatized, and she now has a tendency to distrust or dislike guardians who aren't related to her. Actually, nobody would like a guardian who isn't related to them. It's not just Satoko-chan, but usually people try to deal with that, even if they don't like it. I guess Satoko-chan's not capable of that. Our uncle isn't home much. Besides, even when he is, he's either sleeping or watching TV, so he's not the problem. But our aunt really goes after Satoko. Why doesn't she like her? I can guess why. Satoko-chan's parents were damn proponents. Because of that, the villagers considered the aunt and uncle part of the Hojo family and ostracized them as such. Moreover, they passed away suddenly in an accident and left 2 children behind, so I guess there would be more hate here than gratitude. If she'd been obedient like Satoshi-kun, everything would have been fine. But Satoko-chan can't be that way. She shows that in her attitude and expressions, which leads to her and her aunt having a big fight. I've told my aunt about Satoko's situation, but she just can't understand. I think you're a great big brother, Satoshi-kun. You're the one and only relative Satoko-chan has left now. Right, I feel that way too. Satoshi-kun said with a slight hint of a sigh. He doesn't say it, but it seems Satoshi-kun has grown tired of having to cover for Satoko-chan every time she and her aunt fight. He's a good person, as well as a good big brother, so I'm sure he'll do anything to cover for his sister. But that's a very exhausting thing to keep doing forever. Satoshi-kun was already doing that when their parents were alive, and eventually his mental equilibrium couldn't handle the strain. He grew sick, and he visited my clinic. I thought his circumstances might have improved after their initial cause. His parents were gone. But it seems things were even worse than before. I understand. I can't release Satoko-chan if things are like that. Her symptoms may return again. Don't worry about the hospital fees. I'll make sure Satoko-chan truly recovers. I'll try to pretend I'm listening to his request. I feel a little disgusted at myself for making such selfish excuses. I'll make sure. Takano-san's working on a dissection plan as we speak. If that's possible, that'll help me too. What? I mean, if Satoko stays in the clinic a little while longer, then I can relax as well. That's all. What you mean? As soon as Satoko comes back, I know she'll get into fights with my aunt again. Then it's back to those days of constant fighting and screaming again, and I'll probably get dragged into it too. So if Satoko were hospitalized for a very long time, that would be the easiest on me. But when I think like that, I hate myself. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun is a great big brother who always sticks up for his little sister, but that doesn't mean he doesn't feel burdened. To think things like that, what a terrible big brother I am. The more I think that way, the more I hate myself. Satoshi-kun said, sniffling once. His expression was one of anguish, as if truly feeling his own sin. His desire to be a model big brother is putting himself under greater pressure. I feel bad for Satoko-chan, but I also feel bad for Satoshi-gun in a different way. As someone who knows the both of them well, I feel that I must be their ally, since they don't have anyone else who cares about them. Ah, okay, that's the end of it. I thought it'd be a bit longer for some reason. But okay, he's feeling burdened. And again, I think that was a fragment. Okay, it's gonna get tricky now because there's like 3 different things for some of them. 3 different prerequisites. A part-time job, no. Awareness of his sins, maybe? No, it's not. It's not the sins I'm thinking of. Let's keep looking. No. Steve's death for the couple. No. Okay, this is gonna be a tough one, I think. It's not gonna be this far. No. Prior consent, no. Death of Kozumi, no. Help from Queen Carrier. Results of the research on Siwa. Not sure about the numbers. No, I don't think so. Keep looking. Sense of responsibility. There we go, I think that's it. No, oh, okay, I really thought it would have been. That one? But, no. Satoko just detailed test result yet? And the decision. Maybe, has he decided yet? No. Third year's curse. Level 5, yeah. No. I don't know. I've tried to look through everything. Oh, okay, found one. I didn't realise I'd done it all, but we found one. My harsh and brutal days are still continuing without end. The situation between my aunt and Satoko remains the same. My aunt yells at Satoko for no reason every night. Although Satoko cries, she still talks back to her. So my aunt's yelling goes on and on forever. Satoko's crying goes on and on too. When Satoko sees me, she grabs onto me. This should have been one we saw before, I think. She hides behind my back and tries to ignore my aunt's yelling. She always comes to seek my help. Satoko doesn't open up to anyone but me. So if I don't protect her, she'll be devastated. That security is something our parents didn't grant to Satoko. I have to be the one to provide her. But every day, day after day, every time Satoko cries, every day, day after day. Satoko grabbed onto me while crying yesterday. I patted her head, but along with pity, a different emotion came to me. I wanted to grasp her head and smash her against the wall. What an unbelievably devilish and awful emotion. No, I can't think that. No, it's not that I can't think it, I just can't acknowledge that feeling. Since that day, there's been someone else inside of me. That someone is trying to eat me up from the inside and switch places with me. And Satoko begs for my help while crying. That person tries to make me spill out some awful and hateful words that are sure to damage Satoko forever. Leave me alone. Don't grab onto me. Go away. No, I can't. To prevent him from taking over my body, I clenched my stomach and drove him out. I managed to do that. But that wasn't it. That person is coming after me, trying to get back inside of me. I won't let such a scary thing get back inside of me. He knows there's no room to slip into my heart as long as I keep it held shut like this. So he stopped trying, and instead is following right behind me. He's waiting for me to let my guard down. When I walk, he walks right behind me. He's breathing down my neck. He follows me everywhere, and when I lie down, he stares down at me. He's waiting for the right moment to jump back inside of me so he can hurt Satoko. It's been so hot lately. Maybe the heat is getting to me, and that's why I think things like this. I'm the only family Satoko has, so I'll have to protect her from my aunt for the rest of my life. That's my eternal duty. The rest of my life? Forever? Do I really have to do that forever? Only Satoko. But I'm her only family. But it's because my aunt. But it's because of the villagers too. It's almost Watanagashi. Some irresponsible people are saying that the curse will once again fall upon Hinamizawa. They're also saying it will fall upon me and Satoko for sure. Maybe it's just my imagination, but lately the villagers expecting it to give me especially sharp looks. I feel like I'll be killed on the day of Watanagashi. Of course, There's no reason why I would be killed. It's just my imagination. Ah, stop. Don't come inside of me. Sato's my only sister, my family, so don't tell me those awful things. Stop, don't come this way. Don't come this way. The footsteps came up right behind me, and the hand touched me on the shoulder. Oh, Rena. Rena's here. You okay? Are you? I must have been acting weird. Rena looked worried. Her name's Rena Ryugu. She just moved here and transferred to my school. Nobody remembers her, but supposedly she lived here in Hinmazawa a long time ago. So now Rena's come, we got one or two fragments that were to do with her, right? Should get a bit easier. In fact, she hardly remembers anything about Hinmazawa either. Since Mion's the only other classmate who is my age, I'm glad she's my friend. She usually carries on happily alongside Mion, but occasionally she shows more feminine consideration. You feeling okay? Do you want me to take you to the nurse's office? Do you? Thank you. I'm okay. Do I look sick or something? Yeah. Her immediate answer made me realize I wasn't myself. Is it about Satoko-chan? Are you worried? No, that isn't it. She knows that my problem isn't physical, but a mental one. This is just something I think to myself, but even though Rena seems like a very easygoing person, maybe she's more perceptive than she appears. Since I just transferred here recently, I may not be able to help much, but I can at least listen. Sometimes talking can help. Although she just transferred, she already knows quite a bit about me and my sister, and also about the situation with the villagers. But talking about it won't solve anything. Actually, if I talk about it, I feel like I'd be admitting to my weakness, which might give that person a chance to get inside of me again. You were so surprised just now. That's why I thought something really serious was bothering you. Oh, that. Lately I feel like someone is following me all the time. Stop. I thought that was you. Sorry. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Footsteps? Following you? Me? I know those. I know those footsteps. Oh, that's where it's going to end, but there. So I guess the next fragment or two is going to be about Rena sort of opening up a bit. Is it? But let's see what the description was for this fragment, just so that I can really understand why we could go for that one next. Which one was it? Was it that one? Forgiveness of Rena Ryugu's sins is required. But we didn't have that, did we? I don't know. Okay. So this has been Brainiac Sai. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you again in a bit when we keep on going with the fragments and we see where that with Rena sort of leads. Thanks again for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.